Good morning. This is Dr. Rajesh Mehra. I'm so happy that you decided to join us this morning. I am honored and privileged to have with me in our studios a very privileged guest, Ms. Donna Hilfiger. She is a life coach, and we're going to be talking about motivational moments. We have been doing a series on this for the last few weeks. I hope that you've been seeing them because I know we've been getting some emails which we're going to get to in a minute. But let me tell you, Donna is not only important and significant figure in the Virginia community, but also internationally. She frequently travels to Europe and other parts of the U.S. giving motivational lectures. Donna, welcome.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me back.
Good. So everything okay these days? You're not flying here, there, or somewhere, and you're on Earth, right?
Today is a good day.
Today is a good day on Earth. Okay, well, we'll start with an Earth Day. So thanks a lot for sending those emails. It seems like that you guys enjoyed Donna's comments and her instruction. And one of the common emails that after reading a few, seemed to be about relationships. Because we all, sooner or later, have a problem with some relationship, right?
Oh, yes.
Whether it's our spouse or children or boss or, whatever. Mm-hmm. So let's spend the next few minutes telling us how we can improve our relationships. How can my wife and I not ever fight again? That's what I want to know.
That would take more than a life coach.
That was more a life coach. You're right about that. But then if we didn't fight, that wouldn't be right either, right? Because that wouldn't be the truth. I hear these couples always saying, "Oh, we never fight." I said, "Oh yeah, you sure?" So anyway, tell us about relationships.
Well, it's funny. When I was on the way here today, I had a phone call with someone telling me about it was a situation with a sibling.
Okay.
And the sibling still stuck back in the past from teenage years, upset with the adult.
With the parent.
And he's still running these programs. And let me explain programs, because this is what we bring to relationships with each other in all areas of our life. A program is nothing more than something that we believe, that we continue to believe over and over and over. I mean, say your sister tells you you're stupid your entire childhood, and you start thinking, I'm not as smart as she is because I must be stupid. And you still believe it about yourself. It's a program that you're carrying with you. Mm-hmm. Or if someone tells you that you're ugly as a child or that you're overweight, and
right.
Yes. And these are programs that we may be as thin and fit and work out every single day, but if we're still believing that we're fat from our childhood, then we're carrying a program that's not serving us, and we're bringing it into relationships.
Right. So how do you break out of that? If I've been told I'm ugly, or if I'm told that I'm dumb, then that's kind of what I believe.
Right.
So how do you break that mold?
Well, what I do that's different from other people, because I'll say to somebody, hey, this is the deal. You need to deal with it. Oh, no, I don't want to open that door. I've spent years in therapy, and I'm like, I'm here to tell you it didn't work. Unless and until you go back and get to the core of it and deal with it, you're going to carry it around with you.
Right.
And all it is an overcharge on an emotion that you've been stuck in from some point in your life. And if, like I say all the time, if we could figure it out by ourselves, we would have already done it by now. And that's where a life coach comes in. I'm not the one that peels the layers of the onion, because I was always taught by everybody, oh, it's like peeling the layers of the onion. I'm like, the heck with that. Let's slice the onion open, get to the core, and see what's really going on here. And the layers will naturally fall off. And what I mean by that is you can talk to people and sit down and talk about, oh, well, this is going wrong and that's going wrong and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, stop. Let's trace this back. Let's unravel this ball of yarn and trace it back to where it really started and get to the root and deal with that and heal that part. And then it's naturally going to change you, which you're going to bring a better you to that relationship.
So is this like psychoanalysis where you get to the root of some deep hurt, deep problem, deep thing, or this is on a different level?
For me, it's what comes natural. It's just coaching. That's
so you don't,
a gift that when someone's talking, I'm not listening to what they're saying. I'm listening to what's underneath of their words, what's really going on here, and then I'll guide them back to, because I use processes called kinesiology, and I'll just test it and see what age do we go back to, and it's always spot on.
And explain to our viewers, what is kinesiology?
It's a form of muscle testing. It's, what is it, John Diamond, The Body Doesn't Lie. That's what I learned it from like 20-some years ago, and I've been using it, and I'm not the one to teach it, but I'm the one, I mean, I can do it. So,
right, but what does it do? How does it help in your
helps,
coaching?
It helps me identify the particular age that this person got stuck in this emotion. And it's like, you ever met somebody and you go, wow, they're a really nice person, but they're so immature? It's because they're carrying around emotional baggage from way back here, from their childhood, from their teenage years or whatever.
So you tell them not to think like that.
We address the emotion that they're stuck in, and I give them exercises to do. It's breathing exercise. It's a proprietary technique that I learned years ago. It's called tracing and changing patterns, and I work with them on that and have them identify. And when the light bulb goes off, it never fails. So I say, okay, because I don't let them talk about what's going on right now. I said, let's just tell me what it is you want to focus on, and we'll walk back to wherever it was stuck, and then I'll tell them, never fails. I guarantee you this was a pattern in your life. And they're like, oh my goodness, you wouldn't believe.
Right. Is the breathing, without giving your personal stuff out, like yogic breathing, deep breathing and stuff that's taught in yoga and things like that, or something totally different?
Similar. I've done years of breath work, and I used to do just breath work alone. And laying someone down and having them go through deep breathing and guided breathing and different types of breathing, that moves emotions through the body by itself. But when you add specific words to the breathing, it expedites the process. Combined
with this thing about relationships, let's talk about forgiveness. Isn't a lot of relationship problems happening or do happen because we never forgive whatever it is we're having a grudge against? Or if I'm upset with somebody or something, I just keep repeating that 100 times, right?
Absolutely.
Why did you do it?
Absolutely.
Rather than saying you did it, now let's move on.
Right. Okay, here's the thing for everybody out there listening. Let me just use this as an example. Imagine this is a bottle of Drano.
Okay.
Would you drink it?
No.
Holding on to a grudge and not forgiving someone is just like drinking the poison and waiting for the other person to die.
That's a great example, right?
And when I can't say that enough. You need to forgive, and please listen to me when I say this, you need to forgive for you, not for the other person. Someone may have done something really, really, really bad to you, but you've got to forgive them for you. And when I say forgive them for you, you got to let it go. You got to let go of that charge on that emotion from that other person, because it's holding you hostage in your life, and you might as well be drinking that Drano because it's not hurting them. I can't be mad enough at you to hurt you.
Right.
But if I stay angry enough at you, it's going to hurt me.
Sure.
And it's going to eventually turn into illness, because my body's going to be so stressed out that my immune system's going to break down, and then it's going to wreak havoc on my body.
Right. No, I think that is a beautiful example you gave, because it's really hurting your own self, right? Because we think I get angry at you, but it's really hurting me inside.
Absolutely. Right? And I mean, driving here to Washington, D.C.,
you can become angry.
Oh, my goodness. Yes. But I'm like, okay, breathe, practice what you teach, because people on the road, I can understand why there's road rage, but if you get caught up in it, who's it hurting? It's not hurting that driver that just cut you off. It's hurting you.
Exactly.
And if you're mad at a relative or a spouse or an ex-husband or wife, or you're carrying that baggage around with you, and you're carrying your baggage into the next marriage or into the next relationship. Exactly.
Right. What's I guess part of this is divorces. Unfortunately, recently the statistics are, in America at least, that 1 to 1.5 out of 3 marriages end up in a divorce. That's a sad comment on life, but that's what it is, right?
Absolutely.
So what recommendations do you have, or how can you make some generic comments to our viewers about divorces?
Oh, the first thing I could say is this is my third marriage, but we've been married 23 years. And this time, I'd been doing self-development long enough to realize it's a job sometimes. And you're going to grow at different rates in your relationship, especially if you're together for 23 years like my husband and I are. Especially, we have 5 children. I mean, add that to the mix. That's a lot of stress right there.
That is.
But it's a choice. It's a choice that we make. And there's things that he's said and done. There's things I've said and done. And I have to we have to forgive each other. And you have to bring, I'm sorry to the table sometimes, and I'm wrong to the table when you're wrong.
That's not easy to do, but I guess you have to, right?
Exactly. But it's a choice you have to make every single day in your relationship. It's like, I've seen a lot of people that they're getting into self-development and they're outgrowing their husband, and their husband's like really nervous. Oh my goodness, she's gonna leave me. Reassure him, honey, I'm right here. Come up. I want you to grow with me. Let's go to these seminars. Let's read these books. Let's do this together.
Some of the other questions in the emails also revolved because so many of our viewers out there, of course, all the viewers out there have children, whether they're 40-year-old children or 14, it's all the same concept. And you have 5 of your own. And I'm sure you've gone through the teenage years, the college years, the marriage years, and so forth. Give us some practical advice on children and how to deal with some of the things that come up.
Well, the first thing I would go back to when we very first started talking about, just because a kid did something at 12 years old, don't hold that kid hostage for that thing that they did for the rest of their life. Let it go. They're not a kid anymore.
Right.
And the biggie that I see with parents having so many kids and being involved with their friends, and stop trying to live your life through your children. Allow them to live their own life, and you got to cut that apron string sometimes. It's like my husband said, "Oh, I'm going to stay at home with Chad tonight, and we're going to go to dinner." And I was like, "You got to cut the apron string." He just started driving, and it's our baby, and we still have to check ourselves to make sure that we aren't.
You have to have we're protective.
Exactly, but there's a fine line between being protective and being overly protective.
Of course, and that comes with. Now, what about rebellion? That's a very common teenage, young adulthood concept. How do you deal with rebellion?
You can't meet a 12-year-old on a 12-year-old level.
Okay.
You can't meet an 18-year-old on an 18-year-old level because that causes them to rebel. So what's your energy that you bring to the table is either going to diffuse it or it's going to accelerate it.
Okay.
And sometimes it's going to be an atomic bomb if you're both right there. But rebellion, sometimes you're not the best one to talk to your child through something that you're
trying to adjust.
Exactly. Sometimes it will take an outside source to come in and go, wait a minute, maybe you ought to look at it in a different light. Maybe your parents are right. Maybe they're not sometimes.
Yeah, it depends on the situation, right? I've had 3 of my own, and I can sit here and give a lot of examples, but obviously, the parent is never always right.
Oh,
but
absolutely. But the biggest thing, pick your battles.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best thing. But the child always, or most of the time, thinks the parent is wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, right?
Absolutely.
I can't go out after 9, whatever the situation is. I can't go on this trip to wherever they were going. So, but I think what the children need to understand is that the parent is looking after you, and what the parent needs to understand is that child wants freedom. They want to make their own decisions.
They do, but they also love structure. Children do love structure, but they want to rebel against it because some of them will try you and try you and try you until they find out you're not going to break.
That's right.
And I tell my children, I'm not your friend, I'm your parent.
Good idea. Remember that. Donna said, I'm not your friend, I'm your parent. But we can solve all the world's problems here on this episode, but keep those emails going. We will address some of the other ones on our next episode. Practice what we discuss here, and hopefully you'll have a great week ahead, and we'll have Donna back again next week to talk about some very interesting topics. Thank you.
Thank you so much.